Zeeland Lumber and Supply Company is in the business of delivering many products to our customers, delivering lumber, trusses, and wall panels, delivering doors, windows, and trim, delivering a lot of building materials to our customers. There are several components to our delivery service that receive our strong attention. Having a fleet of well-maintained delivery trucks, making sure the orders we ship are complete, doing everything we can to make our deliveries on time, and placing our products on the job site where the customers want them placed. But the most important aspect of our deliveries, the one that merits our strongest attention, is making absolutely sure that our loads are secure. Our drivers and material handlers who load our trucks need to know that their load securement responsibilities are probably the most important duties of their job. A load securement failure can very quickly lead to a very serious problem. A vehicle accident, serious injuries or deaths, the kind of problems that make the probable damage or loss of product hardly worth mentioning. Properly securing a load is not just a good idea. It is not just a company policy. It is the law. The law requires that all cargo be contained, immobilized, or secured so that it does not blow or fall off the vehicle, or shift upon or within the vehicle to such an extent that the vehicle's stability or maneuverability is adversely affected. A load securement violation carries an extremely high and appropriately high point value in the Federal Compliance, Safety, and Accountability Enforcement Program. So as a driver or load builder with load securement responsibilities, you are expected to pay very close attention and take those responsibilities very seriously. Each of you should have been given a cargo securement handbook for drivers. We expect you to read it thoroughly and keep it in a place so that you can easily refer to it should you have any doubts about how to safely and legally secure a load. The handbook has a section devoted to the type of products we deliver, the section titled Dressed Lumber and Similar Building Materials. You are expected to study that particular chapter very thoroughly. This video program is not intended to cover everything in the handbook, but will be covering some key items we want to emphasize. This video program is primarily for the drivers who transport lumber, doors, windows, and other building materials. Should you be a driver that delivers trusses or wall panels, there is another program available that focuses on load securement of those products. A cargo securement system must be able to withstand the forward forces that occur when a truck is braking, the rearward forces that occur when accelerating or climbing a hill, the sideways forces that occur when turning or changing lanes, and the upward forces that occur when traveling over bumps or cresting a hill. A load securement system uses one or more of the following elements: vehicle structures such as anchor points and headboards, securing devices such as straps, ratchets, and chains, and blocking and bracing equipment. Since so much of the material we deliver is secured with straps and ratchets, let's initially focus on that area. First and foremost, you should regularly check your straps for damage. Check for cuts, holes, or fraying, especially at the hook. Sometimes the deterioration of the strap is not visible until it's put under tension. So check your straps both before you tighten them and after you put them under tension. If you find any cut or frayed section of a 1/4 inch or more, cut the hook off of the strap and then dispose of that strap. Every truck should have extra straps. When strapping down the material, pay close attention to the type of product you are carrying. If it has sharp edges, use corner pieces to protect the straps. If the material is something that will be marred by tightening the straps, use corner pieces to protect the material. All loads, except for very small light loads, such as a hot shot run or small return, should be centered on the truck. Always put the strap inside the rub rail, not outside the rub rail. If the straps are outside the rub rail and there is a side swipe accident, there is a very high possibility that the straps will be cut and your load of lumber might fall off the truck. The minimum number of straps required is different based on whether the material is prevented from forward movement by placing it against the headboard. Assuming that the material you are loading is not against the headboard, if the material you are carrying is 5 feet in length or less and weighs 1,100 pounds or less, only one strap is required. If it is 5 feet or less and weighs more than 1,100 pounds, 2 straps are required. If the material is longer than 5 feet but no more than 10 feet, you must use 2 straps. If the material is longer than 10 feet, you must use 2 straps plus another strap for every additional 10 feet or part thereof. If the cargo is prevented from forward movement by its placement against the headboard, you must use 1 strap for every 10 feet of length or portion thereof. If more than a third of the top bunk is above the headboard doesn't count as securement, and you will need to use another strap. For example, if you have a 4x8 bunk of OSB and it's placed against the headboard, you only have to use 2 straps, as the headboard counts as one securement device. If it is not against the headboard, you need 3 straps, 2 for the first 5 feet and 1 for every additional 10 feet or portion thereof. If you also place another bunk of 4x8 OSB directly against the first bunk, then you only need 2 straps on the first, but you will need 3 on the second bunk. Also, something you might not pick up from the handbook, if there's no material set behind a bunk to prevent rearward forces, you must have a strap placed within 4 feet of the most rearward strap on the bunk to help resist the rearward forces. The goal here is to effectively use the straps to secure the load. Using only the minimum number required is not being efficient, and it's not a goal of the company. Making sure the load is properly secured is a big goal of the company. Understand, you'll never get cited for using too many straps. Straps should be positioned as symmetrically as possible over the length of the material. When spacers are used, straps should be placed as close as possible to the spacers. Please note that the steeper the angle, the stronger the downward force. The stronger the downward force, the less chance of material shifting and coming loose. Keep this in mind if a return pickup is small. Stack the return material so as to achieve the steepest strap angle as possible. On returns, band the bunk of the material together. Push it against the headboard and push it toward the middle of the trailer or truck, and then put 2 or 3 straps over it. Since our deliveries usually include several bunks, there are some key points you need to know to properly and legally secure the materials. When placing 2 bunks beside each other, they need to touch together or the gap must be filled with drayage. Such drayage should be hard enough that it's not to be crushed. Hard wood is recommended. If you're going to have 3 tiers, you must strap down the bottom 2 and then put straps over the 3rd tier. You can band 2 tiers together, which then makes that material 1 tier, not 2. Then you do not have to use the extra straps. We will often be delivering full bunks strapped together by the vendor who sold us the material. Do not assume that they're still banded tight enough to keep boards from coming loose. We have learned this the hard way. It is highly recommended that you reband the full bunks of material. This is especially true with southern yellow pine, which can be pretty slippery. Your rebanding the material will help prevent boards from slipping out of the middle of the bunk during a hard break or turn. When tightening down the straps, be careful, especially if the bar or your hands are wet from rain or sweat. You should regularly check your pry bar to make sure there are no cracks. You should also note that your tightening up one strap can affect the tightness of a strap which you have already tightened. So once you have tightened all straps, go back and check every strap to make sure one has not loosened up. When you are driving down the road, look in the mirrors to check for any straps that are becoming loose. If you see any, pull off the road and retighten the straps. If your delivery is much more than 15 miles, you probably should retighten your straps after the first 15 miles. If you are delivering doors, windows, or trim in a box van, load securement is just as important. Although there is little chance that the material will fall out of a truck, proper load securement in a box van is necessary to prevent the weight from shifting and to prevent damage to the product. Because most of the material delivered in a box van is product that will be visible when the house is finished, using corner protectors to prevent damage to the product is very important. Centering the weight of the material on the truck is also very important. To summarize, securing our material safely and legally is your most important job responsibility. The life of someone in the vehicles driving near you is in your hands, so take this responsibility very seriously. Always make sure the straps, ratchets, and hooks are in good condition. Study the Cargo Securement Handbook. Reband complete bunks to make sure they are tightly held together. Make sure straps are inside the rub bar. And if you are ever in doubt about whether your load is secure, get some help. After driving a few miles, check the straps to make sure one hasn't loosened up. Thank you for your attention, and thank you for your hard work and for all that you do for Zeeland Lumber and Supply Company.